hearing with regards to the situation that is unfolding right now in the skies over Tel Aviv?
Well, within the last 40 minutes or so, basically the entirety of Israel was forced into bomb shelters. There were as many as 200 ballistic missiles, according to reports. We've seen videos, and many people watched firsthand as it seemed just like dozens and dozens of these rockets were coming simultaneously, moving very fast. Many of them, most of them, shot out of the sky by Israel's sophisticated missile defense systems, but not all of them. There's pictures going around of a direct strike at a synagogue in the town of Gedera in the south, and we're waiting word. We've heard that there have been several direct hits. There was a Palestinian man killed by shrapnel near the Arab city of Jericho in the West Bank. But it seems right now that the event is over and that Israelis have come out of their shelters. At the same time, there was a deadly terror attack almost at the same time that this was launched in Jaffa, with 6 people killed as a 2 terrorists, one with an assault rifle, one with a knife, started shooting and stabbing people on the Tel Aviv light rail not too long ago.
So, Alex, this is the second attack from Tehran in just the last year. Does this attack compare to that first missile barrage when some 300 missiles were fired toward Tel Aviv?
In many ways, this was a more intense attack. The attack on Saturday night, April the 13th, there were about 300 drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles. And here, maybe the overall quantity of missiles was less, but all of the missiles were ballistic missiles. So many, many more ballistic missiles came to Israel. And they arrived from Iran in about 12 minutes time. So we got notice, everybody on their phones and the emergency alert system, that there was going to be an attack and everybody needed to get into their safe rooms. And within just 5, 6, 7 minutes, sirens were going off in all of the major cities. I witnessed the first attack from my porch. I saw missiles getting intercepted. This time it seemed as though many, many more missiles incoming at the same time. A very dangerous attack.
Alex, while we were on the air, we saw a separate barrage of missiles that appeared to be coming from the skies over Beirut from Hezbollah. Much shorter distance, much shorter warning period. Do we have any indication as to whether or not those missiles that were fired managed to find their targets?
We heard that Hezbollah also joined in the attack. At this point, not certain if there's been any direct strikes. Israel has missile defense systems also there. So we're still trying to gather information as to exactly where all of these missiles hit. But it does seem clear that, at least from the Iranian attack, that there were at least a handful of direct strikes. But it's believed that there's no serious injuries from the strike, with the exception of this Palestinian man that's reported killed near Jericho from shrapnel. What
does this do to the sense among many Israelis and others who watch the Iron Dome system in operation? Same could be argued for the Patriot missile batteries, that it is a good weapon, a good defensive weapon, but not impenetrable. The fact that some of these missiles got through, does that shatter the sense that many in Tel Aviv have that perhaps they are more vulnerable than they once thought?
Well, everybody understands that there's a degree of vulnerability here. The fact that Israel could shoot out, let's say, 90 to 95% of these weapons is incredible. I mean, with missile defense. But we understand that there is a vulnerability, and because there's a vulnerability, that we cannot permit Iran or Hezbollah or Hamas or anyone else to start firing rockets. Just because we develop missile defense is sophisticated doesn't mean that it's okay for these missiles to be fired. I expect that the IDF is going to retaliate in a way much more severe than we did after the October 13th attack. The IDF spokesperson has said that there will be a retaliation. We're still waiting to get word as to what that could look like.
Alex, this stabbing and this shooting attack, the terrorist attack in Haifa, any indication that the terrorist attack and the missile strikes are connected in any way? And how concerned should Israelis be that we may be looking at a different type of warfare moving forward that would more closely resemble what happened in the 80s and 90s?
Well, we've been dealing with the terrorism inside Israel since long before October 7th, and certainly since October 7th as well. It really, in the first month of the conflict, there were several deadly attacks. It's been quieter here, but in large part because the IDF has been very active in Judea and Samaria, which is known also in the international community as the West Bank. And they've really been filing down the capabilities of the terror cells that have been popping up over there. But yes, there was also a report of an attack in Herzliya as well that turned out to be a false report. Definitely, things are coordinated. Everybody has to understand that Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, these are all terror organizations that have their reach back to the Islamic Republic of Iran. There is coordination here. Before October 7th, there was meeting of Hamas heads in Beirut that's been reported extensively. So yes, Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that this is a 7-front war. And Israel's been attacked since this war started, from Gaza, from Lebanon, from Yemen, from Syria, from Iraq, and now, as we saw today, from Iran itself, and that includes also the attacks that have been inside Israel's borders as well. This is a war between Israel and Iran and all of its terror proxies.
Alex, I got 20 seconds left. Are we looking at the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning?
I think this is going to be the beginning of the next round. Just yesterday, Israel announced its ground operation into Lebanon. I think there's going to be an extensive ground operation there, a lot of air support. So obviously, Hezbollah is going to be trying to retaliate and fire as much as they can. And it's obviously clear that Iran seeks to defend Hezbollah and try to restore some deterrence. I don't think it's going to work. I believe that Netanyahu, the IDF, are determined to stop Iran. So I do think that we're entering a new phase of the war.
Alex Traiman in Jerusalem, the Jerusalem Bureau Chief for the Jewish News Syndicate. Alex, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. As we had to break, live